All right, this video is about how I'm going to draw the outline of my project onto the actual white piece of paper. So if you look here, I have my project and I have a printout of it looks like an egg. I don't know what else to do. It looks like an egg, but it can be a fingerprint. Now, this is actually a PDF in Google Classroom. So if you want to print it out, you can, but it's not a requirement. It's something I do just to make people's lives easier, but it's an egg shape. You could draw it yourself. Now, here's the deal. If it doesn't look exactly like this, I'm not going to take off points for it because obviously everybody's fingerprint looks different anyway. So if it doesn't look like exactly like this, take a deep breath. If you don't have a printer, take a deep breath, get a white piece of paper, you can draw this out. Now let's say you're at home and you're like, well, lady, I don't have any white pieces of paper. There's a couple of things you can do. First of all, I would check your recycling bin for some of your like junk mail that hasn't been ripped up. A lot of times they will print on one side and the back will be completely white, completely plain. So first check and see if you have any backs of the sheets of paper of your mail that you could use for drawing paper. If that fails, you can use just a piece of notebook paper. I would prefer you, if you have any other option, even the back of a mail, which is just white paper, I would prefer you to use that. But if this is all that you have at your house, you can use your notebook paper. Okay. So I have my design here. I already previously printed my fingerprints, and I know it's hard. If I had my camera at school, I would zoom in and everything, but I showed you this on a previous video. And I'm going to find what that outline looks like. So I find my outline. I'm going to do this in pencil because if you do it in pen or Sharpie at first, you can't erase it. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to actually make the lines that are similar to what's on my finger. So my finger is still blue and pink from the previous video. But a couple things to keep in mind when you're drawing this. You need to think about, okay, well, how tall can I write? If I'm a person that writes really, really small, you're going to want to space these lines out closer together. But if you're a person that, you can write decently big, you could space these out a little bit further. Keep in mind, the more lines you put, the more words you're going to need. That's not necessarily a good or a bad thing. It's just something for you to keep in your mind. Notice on mine, my spacing is pretty similar. I got a little bit smaller space down here versus up here, but I tried to keep it similar. What you don't want is like a lot of lines touching or having it super uneven. You want to try to keep it almost like notebook paper where it's a pretty even place to write. Okay, so I'm going to look at my print that I have here. So just know that it's over here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with the special part. So if my special part is a swirl, I'm going to start with the swirl. If my special part is a loop, I'm going to start with the loop. So in this case, all right, so I'm going to start with the loop. So here is my little, the middle part. And it kind of loops around. And it comes from the side for a little bit and then it stops. So what kind of happens with my fingerprint is I have like the loop. I'll do one more. And then it kind of comes from the side and goes over. Kind of like this. Now, are there way more lines in my fingerprint than I'm doing here? Yeah, but this is just kind of the spacing that I'd like. Now, some people, like this is a huge space right here, might not be able to write like that big, so you might want to erase a line and then make two lines there instead. But notice the spacing is fairly even. I don't have like a lot of places where it touches. That's good. All right, let's see if I can just do another example. So let's say it's a white piece of paper and I don't have that outline. I'm going to draw the best that I can a fingerprint. So this is actually a little less egg-shaped, which may be to your benefit. Some people have that spiral. So let's say I have a spiral and it just kind of goes like this and then goes out. And maybe I like just end it on one side and then add a few more lines at the top. It literally just depends on what yours looks like. So this is one option. Some people literally just have lines that go across like this. That's fine too. So this is how I would do my outline. When I am satisfied with what I have, I'm going to take a regular Sharpie, a fine point Sharpie, so it's not extra fine. So notice it says fine point, not extra fine. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to outline this. Now, if you don't have a Sharpie at home, you can use a black marker. You could use a black pen. You could use a black colored pencil. A lot of people have colored pencils. I'm trying to think what else, you could use. Don't use like your mom's eyeliner or something like that. She would be very angry. So, you can get a little bit creative with this if you don't have a black Sharpie at home. If you truly have nothing, you don't have a black colored pencil, you don't have anything, then you're probably going to need to contact me if you don't have any colored pencils so that we can try to find some for you and get you hooked up there. But if you don't have a Sharpie, nobody needs to cry about this. It'll be fine. Okay. Remember, if you have questions or you're not sure or you just want to show me what it looks like, you can always take a picture of what it looks like and then email it to me at hallkr@foxc6.org. And it could be like as simple as like, well, do you think my lines are too close together? I can reply back to that and say yes or no. So that's an easy way if you're wanting me to check it outside of class. Just take a picture and send me an email. All right, further questions, let me know.